Hello guys. Oh. Can you hear me now? ممكن نقفل الباب عشان انا كده هتشتت بصوتي اصلا. So I want you to come on stage and tell me, how did you feel about the results of your quiz? Did any of you finish the quiz? Do you know what archetype are you? Hi Mary, can you come on stage and tell us? Can we unmute الناس عايز تتكلم؟ ممكن نعمل لهم unmute؟ ما انا مش عارفه اعمل لهم unmute صح؟ مش عايز يديني هي رفعت ايدها اهو محتاجه. Mary, please unmute so we can hear you. Three participants.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, are you getting me? Okay. I said I tried the quiz.
How did you find the results?
The results were, okay, the highest I got was 46.
Okay.
And the rest were below 20s. I mean, below 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have three very close archetypes, right? One dominant and two sub.
Come again?
You have three archetypes sent to you, one dominant and two sub archetypes?
Yes.
So what was the dominant?
The dominant is, I can't remember, but the question I was relating to was how I relate to my work. And
Yeah.
I was citing it relating to the community, because most of my work is with also the communities. So
Okay.
this was how I was citing it. But the questions were many, so I can't remember them all. I was just keying them from the computer and answering them right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you feel it was accurate?
Well, still I have a question on the branding itself.
Tell me.
How I can brand myself now.
Okay.
Comparing to what I answered. I was answering it, gearing it to how I brand myself.
Perfect. In this session, this is what we do, the online and offline strategies to work on your personal brand. The first question, though, I encourage you all to answer is to define who you are. What is the value that you're offering to the world? Because if you get this right, this building block will be a very strong foundation from which we can build on a very strong personal impactful brand. The idea is you want a brand that is impactful and that is authentically you. It is accurate. It is who you are. Because if it doesn't reflect real values, it won't be sustainable. You will do it for a little while, but it will be a show that you put on. So you cannot live it as much online as it is offline. That's why I put so much, effort into defining who I am and what I stand for, because this becomes the cornerstone of all my communication. In this session, we will be talking about 10 online strategies that you can do, offline strategies, and 10 golden rules. I think after this session, your question will be answered. But please remember your archetype. Keep it next to you, look at it, go back to the presentation, see the values of this archetype, because then you can start imagining how your communication will be built upon this.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions? I see two hands raised. Hassana, can you tell us your experience with the quiz?
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. It was quite, yes, it was quite an experience. To tell you the truth, initially, from day one, I'm the type of person that so much believe in first impression matters and presentation of yourself. Because however or whenever you go to meeting people, the first impression you give them, that is what actually for life, some people will take you to be. So therefore, pardon?
I agree. I mean, I can't agree more.
Yeah. So therefore, I so much value and appreciate presentation a lot. How you present yourself to the world, how you carry yourself. Because if you are a woman of integrity, woman of honesty, woman of so much value, that's how people will respect you. And people would take you for who you are.
I'm curious, Hassana, what was your major archetype? What did the quiz show?
Truly, I can't really say for now, but I'll get back to you.
Okay, do that. Do the quiz and let me know. You're welcome.
Okay, ma. Thank you.
Susan. Hello, Susan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. I did the quiz. And I was a bit surprised because based on the quiz results, I am supposed to be a hero.
And but you're not feeling it, huh? You feel you might be something else. It happens. I'm asking.
I felt a mixture or a blend of each of those archetypes that you mentioned, but actually the traits of a hero, I think, are quite fitting. And so I'm very happy about that.
Perfect. And what are your sub archetypes?
Sorry?
You came as a hero, and then the second and the third sub archetypes, what were they? Do you think the whole picture is accurate? It reflects who you are.
Yes. That is what happened, and I'm happy about it.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm glad you guys did the quiz and you have an idea of who you are. Let's jump into the topic then, way forward from here. Ready, girls? Okay. Let me put this down. So let's start with the online personal branding strategies. You're all with me, right? Okay. Know yourself first. Anyone who is going to talk to you about personal branding is going to highlight over and over again the importance of knowing yourself. That's why I started with the 12 archetypes. That's why I passed on the quiz to you. And if the quiz is not accurate, do it again and again, and until you observe yourself relating to a certain archetype. That's very, very important. That's why I told you in the beginning, research, observe, analyze. That's what you need to do. Research your brand archetypes over and over again. Observe your reaction every time you hear an archetype. If this is me, if this reflects my true values, my true self, and then analyze what you do and how do you show up in life, reflecting what you stand for. So first of all, know yourself. Knowing yourself could be through assessments, through asking questions, through quiz like the one we did, and feel free to explore more and more. Don't get the first answer and consider it as the truth, but keep exploring. The second thing is test yourself. And the reason why I was asking you your reaction about the quiz is that sometimes we get the results and we feel these are not reflecting of who I am, or I think my strengths lie somewhere else. In this case, you might be answering the questions in a funny mood that day, or maybe you had a particular idea in your head that you wanted to communicate or portray, and it's somehow diverted your quiz from what it should be. So when we say test yourself, take these results and start exploring them with your closed circle, online and offline. Start talking to your spouse, your partners, your best friends, your moms, and your colleagues at work, and ask them, what do you think of me? What do you perceive me? If you're recommending me for a job or a role, how would you put a summary? How would you tell the world what I stand for? And take all this feedback positively. Don't let anybody else draw your picture for you. You draw your picture. You decide who you want to be. But this valuable feedback can definitely give you insights into the blind spots we have within ourselves. Somebody asked me in the first session, what if my perception is different than the world's perception of me? And that's why I'm telling you, integrate your personal perception of yourself with what your closest circles are saying about you. Third strategy, now I know who I am. I have tested myself with my closed circle, and we all seem to agree that I am the creator. What do I do now? What you need to do now is to define your target audience. Find out the segment that appeals to your brand archetype the most, the people that value your creativity, the people that value you going forward. And then decide, when you decide on your target audience, you will know the medium, you will know where to find them, and you will know how to create the message. The message will be tailor-made for your target audience. So third most important part, just as important as defining yourself, just as important as testing whatever findings you have with your closed circle, is to define your target audience. And people tell you, define your target audience. Let me give you an example. So let's say you're into wellness, and then you decide your target audience would be lifestyle design. That's all great, but you know what? Be even more specific. Narrow down your niche. So if you're saying I'm into lifestyle design, let's say I will help single mothers in their lifestyle design. So narrow down your niche, try to funnel down your activity. So you have a very specific niche of target audience that you're crafting your message for, that you are present on certain platform for. For example, if my target audience are girls between 13 and 17, there's no need for me to be on LinkedIn and on daily basis creating content on LinkedIn, because 13 to 17-year-old girls are not on this platform. You need to be creating Snapchats and TikToks and being present where they are. Go where your target audience are and craft a message where they how they understand things. So if I'm targeting kids, if I'm creating an educational program for kids, there's a certain language and certain tools that I will use to better appeal to them, to be able to grasp their attention. A completely different approach if I'm reaching academics or professors in university, then I will talk to them intellectually. I will rely heavily on data analysis and research. So that's the crucial part in creating your message. I think Susan asked me, now what do we do with what we find out? That's what we do, girls. So we focus on knowing yourself, testing yourself, defining your target audience, and then start creating content. As I'm saying, content is, your message is the same message, but how I present this message differs from one target audience to the other, from one demographic to the other, if I'm speaking to men or women, if I'm speaking to a certain age group, if I'm speaking to a certain language barrier, for example, do I need to speak in English or in Arabic or in the mother tongue of this country? How can I reach people best? So you start creating content that is inspired from the 3 earlier findings. So content is crucial. You have days of posting, you have means and mediums to post on, and you have type of content. So between videos and voice content and blogging that you write. And it's very important that you diversify between different tools. So if you write well, write, but also make sure every now and then you have a room that is open to chat with your target audience. So diversify between the ways you use content and the mediums you're using for the content, depending on your target audience and of course on the message itself. Okay, upgrade your social media approach. Social media is not for posting your meals and your drinks and the cute dogs and cats and anymore. If you are working on creating a professional personal brand, then you need to work on your social media approach. Marketeers would have dreamt for the opportunity we have today. Today, you can have a platform, talk about any topic you want, raise any question, start a poll or a conversation, invite a celebrity or an author for a conversation. So social media has actually provided us with an opportunity that marketeers 20, 25 years ago would have killed for, would have probably paid fortunes to get this airing time. But we need to use it very carefully. We need to know that every time you're online, whatever you put there is going to be there forever. So I encourage you to be smart. Think about what you're posting. So if you are in doubt, if you're not sure that this is the right approach, I encourage you not to press this button, because once it's out there and it's part of your brand communication. So I'll tell you this thing, they say your brand, your personal brand is not what you say, it's what Google says about you. And that's very, very true, because people Google you, people look for you. If you want to speak in an event, if you want to be part of a panel, if you want to find a new job and you're going for interviews, the easiest thing is that the people who are approaching you will find you on different platforms. So people will Google you, and whatever your social media accounts say about you becomes a reality. So work hardly on polishing your social media accounts. Make sure that you're posting and hammering on the same message. Keep your message focused, and you keep telling the world who you are, what you do, and what value you can offer to your target audience. Upgrade your social media approach, and I think this is something we all need to look into. Whatever you post online is going to be there forever. So think, be smart, be engaging, but be yourself and authentic. Define your expertise. Again, do not try to be everything for everybody. Define your expertise. Talk about your topic and keep highlighting it. For those of you who weren't with us in the first session, we were talking about how Simon Sinek has amazing follower base. And basically, it is due to his simple mantra, know your why. Simon Sinek is not trying to be the guru of all. He's not teaching many topics. He's only teaching the value of knowing your why, the reason why you are, the reason why you wake up, the reason why you go to work and act up in life. So focus on one attribute, define your expertise, and tell the world, this is how I can help you. This is how I can add value. 7th point, share knowledge. Don't be stingy on social media. If you can offer people help, offer this lending hand. People will not forget someone who stepped in, answered the question, gave you a platform to find your answers to, or at least even engaged with you in a deep, meaningful conversation. So be open, be generous with what you know, share knowledge and share your experience with individuals. Go on platforms, people that you associate with, people that help with your vision and talk to them about challenges and how we can overcome them. Talk to them about your creative solutions and tell them your story as you're walking through life. The 8th point from the online strategy is be visible. Social media is a two-way conversation. Don't be the one speaking all the time. Be visible, talk, engage with others. If you find someone talking about a problem and then you can step in and share some experience, do that. And celebrate others. So when somebody does something right or gets a promotion or speaks in an event, celebrate others. Tell people that you think what they're doing is great when they're doing a good job. Tell them your honest feedback and be present and be genuine and authentic in giving this. Optimize. So we can start with the best intentions. We have a great message and we have a great medium that we want to start with, but then along the way we see we're not getting the right engagement. People are not coming back to us with questions, or maybe we don't get enough acknowledgement, we're not seen. Then maybe there's something that we need to optimize. Maybe the way I'm speaking about the message is not complementing the message. Maybe I'm not speaking on the right days. Maybe I'm not using the right platform. So keep optimizing and testing. And if you see someone getting better results on your social networks, follow them, understand what they're doing right, learn from their experience, so you can take that and optimize whatever process you've been. Again, it's very important that you test whatever you're doing, because everything keeps changing. Even the social media platforms, their algorithms keep changing. So what worked yesterday or last year might not be working for you today. And you're the only one who will be able to make this judgment. If things stop working, if I stop getting the engagement, if I'm not being visible at all. So optimize, put your targets in front of you and optimize your presence. The 10th, and I think it is the most important point for your strategy, is be consistent. Because sometimes you have the best strategy in the world. We wake up with strong enthusiasm and we start the project, we start the communication, and then we disappear for 2-3 months and people forget what we were talking about, and then we come back again. Be consistent. Always have a message, always have a story, go around, tell people what you're there about, and be consistent doing that. And be consistent across platforms. So you don't want to appear so professional on LinkedIn and you're selling this professional brand while other platforms are telling a different story. And you all know what I mean. So you need to be consistent across all platforms. You need to have a consistent message, and you need to consistently be posting and offering expertise on social media. So I think these are the 10 golden online personal branding strategies that you can do. Quickly know yourself, test yourself with your inner circle, define your target audience, know who you're talking to and where they are, start creating content that is interesting to them so they engage with you, upgrade your social media approach. It's not for cute puppies and coffees and great meals. It's for you to have this platform to express yourself to the world, define your expertise, tell the world how you can add value, share your knowledge on every possible occasion. Whenever you find there is a need or there's a question that you can answer, step in, share your knowledge, be visible, be on all platforms. It's a two-way approach. So comment, celebrate others' success, be visible, optimize, and be consistent across all platforms. Any questions here? I will repost the link at the end of the session. Any other questions? Okay, let's move on. Okay, offline branding strategy, sorry. So without the online, you have two options. You either speak in events, participate in conferences and network. You only have those two options to show the world what you stand for. How can I get speaking opportunities in events? By doing what we were talking about in the first 10 strategies. When you establish presence, when you tell the world what you're good at, when you comment on people, like-minded people, individuals, when you answer questions, people would realize that if you can answer these questions, then probably you would be good at speaking at this event. Approach podcasters and ask them to become a guest on their podcast. Approach YouTubers, people who create content, and tell them that you want to be part of what they're doing, that you want to give a series of educational sessions on the topic you're good at. You want to celebrate Women's Day by being a part of this competition. Whatever it is that you do, create this network of collaborative alliances that can invite you to events where you can have impact and present offline, and then you can take this content and repost it online. And by that, you're doing this cycle of how do you say it, personal presence, both online and offline, that is consistent with the message that you're doing. Participate in industry-related networking events. Always be present. If there's an event, even if you don't have a role, even if you don't know what you're doing, if your company is there, if it's presented, be there, and be there full-heartedly. Be there, network with people, find a way to start a conversation, find common grounds, link with them on social media platforms so that after the event you can go back, revisit your strategy, make sure that your relationships are meaningful, are authentic, and are accurate. So our last slide, what I'm gonna leave you with, and I think these 10 points are also missed by a lot, because there's a lot of noise when it comes to personal branding these days. Everyone is trying to be in the spotlight and people talk too much. And I think the ones that are not doing very well are not capitalizing on those 10 points. So let me go through them. So the 10 golden rules for personal branding. Have a focus. I cannot stress this strong enough. Do not try to be everything for everybody. Do not try to be the expert and the guru on all and be all and have all. Have a focus. Have a message, a strong, authentic, accurate message that you can tell the world, and be genuine. The only way you can have a sustainable personal branding is to be genuine, be yourself, because if it's fake, it's not going to be sustainable. As I told you in the first session, we can all fake those few minutes. We can all have this great first impression. We know how to show up when we need to. You can do it, but you cannot do it for a sustainable year or two. One way or the other, your genuine, real, authentic self will come up. That's why I'm telling you, put all your effort on finding your genuine strengths, what you stand for, and be genuine in offering the world the real you. Tell a story. People relate to brands and individuals when their story means something to them. When they feel that you've been there, you've done what they have done, you've gone through the challenges and you did the work. So tell a story. If you don't know how to tell your story, craft it with somebody who's a good storyteller. Make sure that whatever it is that you are offering the world, that the world can find the value that you're offering. It's not enough that you have a genius experience in somewhere. It's very important that the world knows what you're offering. So tell your story. As I was telling you, find podcasters where you can host them, talk on YouTube, speak in events, tell your story. Again, be consistent. Make sure that you don't say something and then your behavior reflects something else. If you say you're a hero, then save the day every time. Don't act like a ruler the other time. Just be consistent. People, if they see you doing contradicting things, psychologically, they turn you into this silent leader. They stop listening to you because you don't seem to have a value proposition that you're offering. You are not being consistent. So the fourth golden rule is be consistent. The fifth, be ready to fail. I cannot stress this enough. There is no success without failure. Failure is the only way we learn. There's no glory in success. Failure is part of the deal. So be prepared to fail. Be ready that your first gig is not going to be amazing. Your first Speaking opportunity is not going to be over the top. Your first engagement on social media might not be as valuable as you thought it would be, but just keep doing it. It's only by practice that we improve. So be ready to fail and rise again, and make it part of your mantra that every time I get knocked up, I step up again, and this is what I'm about. So be ready to fail. Personal branding is just like anything other in life. It needs practice, it needs a lot of work, and failure is just part of the process. The 6th point in the golden rule: create a positive impact. It's important that you make your brand not about you, but about the value. So always focus on creating positive impact. Pick your line of expertise, pick whatever it is that you want to do, but always make sure that you are leaving a positive impact in every community, in every place you are existing and dealing with people. Make sure you're leaving positive impact. Again, number 7, follow a successful example. And I've talked about that. I've brushed against this point many other topics, because it's always very important to have a mentor, somebody to learn from. So you can have a physical mentor, someone that is with you, but you can also have a role model. Look at someone who's done great in your brand archetype. So let's say you're a sage, and Oprah Winfrey is one of the most famous person. She's built a very strong, powerful personal brand. Look at her, follow successful examples, see what they do, what are they doing on social media, which events are they at, how do they engage, how do they add value, and learn to create content in a similar way. Live your brand. So live your brand. There's nothing more I can say. Just breathe your brand. Be authentically you, and consistently authentically you. Let others tell your story. One of the huge successes that you can get in life is to have a brand or a personal brand that is so powerful and so impactful that people want to tell your story. I worked for a brand like this. I used to go meetings and hear our partners and suppliers talk about why they do business with us. And they don't just talk about general points, but they talk about incidents and situations where we saved the days, where we stepped in with our expertise and made things happen for them, where we were accountable, reliable. And this is what you want. You want people to tell your story. You want the people that you deal with, the people that you teach, to come back and say, I've had a lot of value from this encounter. I've learned a lot in this session. The coaching that she gave me was a milestone in my career. So that's what you want to do. Let others tell your story. If you create this positive impact, believe me, people will go around and tell your story. And there is no greater impact you can have, but then your target audience are the ones promoting you to others, to similar peers. Number 10, leave a legacy. And I wish for all of you girls that whatever it is that you're doing, leave a legacy. Let your work talk about you. Leave something that will outlive you from all your life. And do it consistently, do it with passion. So to end this session, before we get into the Q&A answers, start by loving your personal brand. And I mean loving it, because the more you practice, the easier it gets. The more you practice, the better your ability to tell your story. And you've got to be able to tell your story. I can't stress this enough. Marketing is not about the stuff that you sell, but it's about the stories that you tell. So tell your story, and the more you practice, the better your story will be. Take time, assess where you are, see how you can improve. It's very important. Be prepared to fail, rise up again, and see how you can improve. Optimize the process. Observe the environment. Make great first impressions, because as you said, we might not get a second chance to give this first impression. So observe the environment, make a great first impression, be able to articulate the brand. And here's the thing, life is a series of moments, and here's what I ask you to do. Show up well, build a brand that is authentically you, and by doing this, you will make every moment count. Best of luck with your personal branding, and I'm sure you girls will all rock. And please feel free to ask questions, and I'm all yours. I think we have maybe 5-10 minutes for questions. So who would like to come on stage? So, anyone raising your hands? No way? Yes. Can we unmute them? If you can bring them on the stage. ما أنا مش عندي أنا مش I'm not empowered. Guys, you can also find me on LinkedIn. So if you have more questions, please feel free to connect with me on social media, on LinkedIn, and then we can take this conversation further. But right now, please. Susan?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Marianna, for this presentation. I really, really like this presentation. And I can tell you I have learned quite a lot. So I'm very, very happy.
Thank you.
You are welcome. My question is on, you have said one of the 10 golden rules is that we should be ready to fail. But sometimes failure is very painful, more so when it is a lady failing. Can you kindly shed some light on how to pick up whenever you fail? Thank you.
You're welcome. One of the things I do today is podcasting. So I'm the creator of a podcast that translates to my story. So I meet people on a weekly basis, and not once have I met an interesting individual who did not have big failure in his life. So believe me, even if when we fail, we don't see it. Failure is what makes us who we are. It's not the moments where we're being celebrated or we're on stage and it's glamorous. These are not the moments. The moments that shape us, that make us who we are the times when we failed and we faced conflict, the times where we didn't show up to the world the way we wanted to show up. And every time I hear a story, I tell them, how did you feel? How did you see this failure? And every time this person comes back to me and said, if it wasn't for this failure, I would have never made it. It's your mindset. It's the way you look at things. So I would tell you, every time something tells you that, I hate this, I'm failing, tell this voice inside of you to silence. And this is the way you're growing and how do you say it, forming into the real authentic you that you can be. So there isn't one person who doesn't fail on daily basis on one thing or the other. And there isn't failure that is too big that we can't stand back from. And I think it's all about your mindset. If you look at it as failure, if we label it as failure, then it sounds bad. But if it's lessons learned, if it's the grinder that shapes me, then my mindset and my vision is different. So I think I tell you fail, because this is where great stories come.
Marianna, can you please stop the screen sharing so we can see all the attendees?
Sure.
Please. Alu, you can go ahead, please, if you have a question.
Hello, Marianna.
Hello.
It was indeed an interesting presentation.
Thank you.
What I really want to know much more is, how can I be consistent in the midst of failure? And because most times you'll be pushed to the wall, a lot of things will be said, and most times you become discouraged. Yeah, I have faced failure before in my life, and I know what it means for someone to fail. So I don't know. I need more light still in that aspect. Thank you.
I think it's your mindset. Again, failure is not, it's not a state that you're in. It's your mindset. It's the way you look at it. It makes great stories. Love failing. How do I say it? Embrace it. It's part of life. It's part of the experience. Who doesn't fail? Do you know anyone who hasn't had big failures in their lives? It's not possible. It's just like breathing, and it's like succeeding. So it's our mindset. Just take it as a lessons learned. Don't let it define you.
Exactly.
Good.
If I might add, Marianna, FAIL, it's an acronym for first attempt in learning. So once you start, personally, that's how I think about it. When I switched my mind to thinking about failure, that it's a learning experience. I learn from it, I pick myself up, and I move on. Yes, there are some failures that are harder than others, but we have to move on. And I think that's why a lot of people who experience failure, they really step really back, because they let that get to them. And I'm going to take this opportunity to ask you a question, Marianna. I really enjoyed your presentation, very enlightening. The survey, I did take the survey, and I wanted you to share with me if there are any role models that need to follow, since my archetype was royalty. So you know, any role models that I can follow as a royal archetype in social media, so I can mimic what they're doing, some successful royalty archetypes. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, I prefer that if you want to follow a role model, this has to be somebody you pick. You don't pick anybody that is recommended to you, but there are so many. There's Gary Vee, there is Simon Sinek, there is a lot of people, and you can also do this search on Google. I can go in and say social media stars with archetypes and see who you follow. But I recommend you follow everybody, follow all the archetypes, and just keep learning, because the message is different, but your approach, I mean, we all have it.
Yes, Dr. Vonani. Dr. Vonani, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Marianna, for the presentation. It's very helpful. What I would like to know, for example, and I'm asking this question because I missed the first part of the presentations because of connectivity. Maybe you could have covered it, but for example, I have a LinkedIn presence, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and some presence on Twitter, but I'm very passionate about mental health and women's a journey that women go through. For example, I'm going to be turning 45. I have been married twice. I'm in my second marriage. I have a blended family now with my husband, who is from Angola. I know a lot of people struggle with being stepmother, but I have one of those success stories which started off very difficult, but ended up, we are now functioning as a solid family. I'm a lawyer by profession. I'm a lecturer as well. How do I use my current, my experiences in life to provide some how can I say, guidelines on how to deal with being a professional person and still being able to provide a somewhat functional basis for children. I mean, I'm a mother of 5, and I still completed my doctorate in record time. And a lot of people ask me, how do you do it? How have you done it? But I would like to share my story, but I don't really know how to use those platforms to share my lessons learned and to share some strategies that I've had to adopt in order to still be a present mother, a performing professional, and to be a blended family, which is a very difficult thing, especially when children already have had an experience of their mother and father, for example, who went through a divorce. And so I know this is a very almost personal type of question, but it's circumstances that we live and impact on our lives as women, because most of us are caregivers, but we're also professionals. So at the end of the day, I'm quite curious as to how do I position myself to be almost like a coach or a mentor on such issues, because I've had a suicidal child, I've dealt with a child with mental health issues like bipolar, but for some reason, I've been able to find a way of coping through these things. So my concern was, how do I position it in such a way that it doesn't seem like I'm tooting my own horn, but more like sharing life lessons so that others who are in a similar positions can find help, can find, how can I put it, can be consoled that they are not the only ones in that position. Thank you.
You're welcome. First of all, let me say I really appreciate you wanting to share your knowledge and experience with the world, offer a helping hand to people who might be going through challenges that you've been personally through. This is amazing. I salute you for it, and please always do that. Always keep the passion to give back and help others. I would suggest 2 things. Start a blog. The easiest thing you can do is start a blog and start sharing from this blog to your social media platform. So in this blog, you can tell stories about difficult situations that you faced as a mother, you faced as a family, as a blended family, the challenges that you do, go to work and be on time and get them prepped for school and feed them well, and whatever it is. You can start a blog, you can start a podcast. It's also another amazing medium you can do. It's very easy to record and create your own content, and even have guests on your show where they can come, and psychiatrists talk to you. So you can, and again, with podcasts, you can take those sound files and reshare them on social media. And the third thing, step in. If you see mothers dealing with certain issues and talking about them online, step in, share your experience and tell them what you can do. Every now and then, we feel like whatever we're doing is meaningless, but trust me, when you speak from the heart, as you did today, people will reach out to you. If you give them a platform to come back to you, a blog, a podcast, a dedicated page, whatever it is, you know, even a Facebook group community page. You have Facebook groups on everything, on single mothers, on baking, on creative people. So create a group for blended families, for moms who are facing challenges with difficult kids, and bring in expertise in it. So I think there are many ways that you can do it. But again, these are only ideas off the top of my head. You can find even more creative ideas if you sit and think. If there's a coach or a mentor that can help you do the process, do it. If you want to connect with me later on LinkedIn, we can even brainstorm more. But I think a blog is an amazing idea.
Amanda, go ahead, please. Amanda, go ahead. Yes.
Okay, firstly, I want to thank you for a good presentation. It's something that I really enjoyed listening to. But then I have a question. I'm 27 and I recently resigned from work. I've started my own company. So I haven't told my parents and my family because I was afraid they would discourage me to do that. Now that I have formally resigned, it's kind of like the other part of me is now afraid to strike. But the other part is so confident that I'll make it. So how best can I deal with the situation? Should I tell them now or I should wait and probably when I pick up, probably like 3 months later, then I'll tell them, what should I do?
That's a very difficult question. This is something that you only can decide with your relationship with your family. My opinion is always come clean, always be true, and there's no need to hide. But again, it's a sensitive situation. You're the only one who can assess how much support or alienation you're going to get from your family. So I'm not in a place where I can give you this advice, but in general, a general outlook in life, I prefer honesty and I prefer to be, come clean and just tell them what I have in mind. Whoever supports me, that's great. If people don't understand, that's fine as well. I mean, you will have that. When I started my company, my husband was completely against it. I did not keep it a secret. Of course, he knew everything, but he thought that there's no need to take the risk and stuff like that. And today we celebrate this decision together. So don't worry. Not everyone that is opposing right now will oppose for life. People change when the success comes along. So don't be afraid to tell your story. Tell your story.
I'll do that. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Last question, Christine, please go ahead. Last comment, and then we will take a group photo, an e-photo after that. So please raise your hand if you want to show on the screen. And Amanda, stay with us, please.
Okay.
Okay, merci.
Hello.
Ok. Oui, merci. Oui, c'est Christine. Bonjour, Anna. J'ai vraiment apprécié votre présentation. Je vous dis merci. Merci. Okay. For me, my English is not very good, but I prefer to speak in French. Alors, je disais que apprécié l'information que vous nous avez donnée. C'est vrai, au-delà de ce que nous sommes en train de faire actuellement, mais le leadership féminin a besoin de s'exprimer. Et donc, je suis entièrement d'accord avec vous. Je vous remercie pour les différentes informations. C'est très enrichissant ce que vous nous avez donné et ça nous ouvre encore davantage l'esprit. Alors, quand j'ai fait le test, j'ai vu que j'étais 6% sage. Je ne sais pas au juste ce que cela voudrait bien dire pour moi. Je voudrais avoir quelques informations de ce score-là. 36% heureux, 36% sage. Je voudrais avoir quelques précisions. Et puis, partager un peu mon expérience. Je suis directrice de la promotion de l'éducation et du développement durable au sein du ministère de l'Environnement et du développement durable de mon pays. Et donc, je suis beaucoup amenée à travailler, à communiquer avec beaucoup de personnes. Et ça m'apporte au moment où je me suis rendu compte qu'il fallait aller au-delà de ce que j'avais, de partager mon expérience, en dehors du fait que je milite beaucoup dans des associations au niveau de ma communauté religieuse. Et partout où je suis passée, très souvent, j'ai eu à prendre des responsabilités. De l'IPNEC pour sortir comme professeur au départ, j'étais la présidente de la promotion sortante. Et puis, dans mon parcours au niveau de mon ministère actuel, je suis la vice-présidente de la mutuelle. Et donc, ça me permet de partager ce que j'ai avec les autres. Et maintenant, je me dis, il faut que j'aille au-delà. C'est vrai que vous avez parlé de stratégie en ligne, c'est-à-dire participer à des réunions, être dans des associations, tout ça, mais les stratégies en ligne, au départ, j'avais une idée un peu négative de Facebook et autres, tout ça, par la manière que les gens utilisaient. Mais je me suis rendu compte que non, ça dépend de comment nous-mêmes nous utilisons Facebook. Alors, j'ai commencé à faire une expérience sur Facebook, à faire des posts, des partages, mais pas des partages pour vraiment montrer véritablement, je ne sais pas, il faut dire m'exhiber, mais donner des informations sur Facebook, sur, comment on appelle, LinkedIn, donner quelques informations. Et tout dernièrement, je me suis mise en ligne encore en créant un blog. Et là, j'essaie d'animer parce que je me dis, il y a beaucoup de femmes qui ont soif de connaissances, qui ont soif d'apprendre, mais elles ne savent pas comment apprendre. Donc, je voudrais les aider en mettant en place un cabinet travailler dans ce sens de formation, de coaching, des choses comme ça. Mais comment m'y prendre, c'est un peu ma difficulté, étant donné qu'actuellement, je travaille dans l'administration publique. Donc, voici un peu toujours enrichissant de partager ce qu'on a,
Nous avons une minute pour terminer la séance, s'il vous plaît. Et puis pour prendre... oui, je m'excuse. Alors, Marianna, you want to answer the question or would you like to send you the translation and we send it to Christine later?
I think I got what Christine wants to say. I encourage you to use social media the way you see is correct. Of course, you don't need to be riding the wave like everybody else. I highly, highly recommend LinkedIn. LinkedIn shaped into this amazing personal branding platform, and you can find like-minded individuals with a lot of experience to share. And you can also create your training courses on YouTube and just share knowledge and information on Facebook or other platforms. So I encourage you to use it, of course, with your boundaries, but there are very, very useful tools that you can use and share with the world your knowledge and experience.
Merci beaucoup. Mais je voudrais rentrer personnellement en contact avec vous pour qu'on puisse être mieux coaché, parce que je vois que vous avez beaucoup d'expérience, vous avez beaucoup à nous apprendre de façon rapprochée, de façon personnelle. On a besoin d'un rapprochement de coaching pour aller de... Est-ce qu'il est possible de vous recontacter en dehors de cette session? Il n'y a pas de souci. Hein?
Sure, and you can find me with the same name also on LinkedIn. So, but of course, I will leave a link with everything, with all my data. And I will be available on the platform as well.
Thank you so much, Marianna. It's time for our group photo. So, would you please open your cameras if you would like to join?
Oh, please join, all of you. It will be a good memory.
Yes, who else?
Yes, girls.
I would like to join, but I have no access, please.
Yes, next. Wait for us. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, yes, please.
We would like to join, please.
Yes, yes, yes.
I want to join too.
What's your name, please?
Susan.
I'm Justina.
Susan. 1 minute, Susan.
Are you seeing me?
Yes, I can see you.
Susan, you are now here. Open your camera, Susan.
Slima. Open her camera, but I am not seeing myself.
Slima also.
Thank you.
1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to take the picture with you next time. Huh? want to prove there is men in Africa also.
Mr.
Thank you,
Marwan,
Chris.
you're
It was
already part
very
of.
inspiring.
Yeah.
Thank you. On a terminé la
Thank you so
séance.
much.
Me too, on the platform and on LinkedIn.
Yes. Thank you. Who else want? Nadine? Charity, please. Yes, Nadine is here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
One, two, and three. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you all.
everybody.
Bye.
See you in 10 minutes.
اللي بعدين هو بقى انت اللي بعدين هو مش هروح اظبطها.
Goodbye. Thank you. See you in 10 minutes in the other session. Bye.